on Renekton. They're grabbing him that for the first pick here again. It sets up well for a lot of junglers in the meta right now, such strong gank assistance. You know, even in some of the bad matchups, there is always the opportunity to flash W, stun them, set up for your jungler, and turn around one of those bad matchups. But Lillia already taken off the board. We saw a lot of Lillia Renekton yesterday. I'm going to be interested to see if Nidalee Renekton is going to be in the meta whatsoever this year, because we did see a lot of that at the end of last year. But I haven't been seeing as much Nidalee, it seems like, in solo queue these days. So we'll be curious to see if that pops up.
The Lillia was going to be, I think, second choice if it was, like, Lillia, I think, is the best AP jungler in League of Legends right now. I think that's the one you go for, and it's the one, in fact, that Immortals banned. I think they sort of expected the Renekton first pick, try to get rid of the best synergy possible. Elise is solid. Lillia is very good. Yeah, Nidalee, I think, is a tier below at that point. And with the Lillia steal, it's like, does Svenskeren play Elise? Maybe not. Hecarim is more diving, which is solid. EG did lack engage, I would say, in the previous one they played. It says, actually, no, we are going for the AP jungler. We are indeed trying to mix damage types here, so Nidalee jungle comes through. But it means that, again, Impact is on flank duty unless Ignar can start the show.
Yeah, and there are a lot of engaged supports in the meta right now, right? And none of them have actually been banned out, unless you want to say Pantheon could be, put in the support role. So, you have your Alistars, you have your Leonas, you have even Set and some of these other supports that can be pretty strong at engaging. So it's not going to be a huge concern for them just yet. Nidalee has been fairly popular in some of the other regions, so I'm glad to see it popping up here. It already has 20+ picks in pro play. So Svenskeren going to be teaming up with Impact here, and this is already something where Revenge is going to have to be pretty careful about what he is playing. A lot of players in this position will just go to an Ornn and just try to accept the beating and hope that they don't get too far behind. I'm going to be interested to see if he wants to go for something a little bit more aggressive, because there are always the options that are considered more the traditional lane counters to Renekton. Of course, you still have to be worried about jungle pressure, but you can go towards something like a Quinn even, if you are willing to play it and your team is willing to play around it. But with Lucian coming through, I'm expecting that to be Lucian mid, which generally does draw a lot of attention from the junglers. So I'm already kind of not really thinking that we're going to have a carry mid, a carry top, carry the jungle. Immortals likely are going to have Revenge on tank duty, I would assume.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good choice here, so I'm curious if there's going to be a lot of tank bans coming through from the EG side. Obviously, we saw Impact do swimmingly when he, just kind of clapped the Ornn and fudged to play, behind his tier 2 turret for half the game, and that worked really nicely. So, maybe he's just willing to take those matchups. I don't know if something like Malphite holds on better. Not much of an expert there myself, but there's Leona getting banned away. It's more engaged going off the bat. Syndra getting dropped on the table as well. My understanding is Lucian is actually fairly comfortable into Syndra, just because you can itemize Hexdrinker so easily that you're kind of okay at playing the matchup out, but I'm not an expert there either.
Yeah, it is interesting, because when there's an AP jungler as well, having that AP option come through in mid lane, then you were really happy generally about going towards a Hexdrinker and those types of plays. But this just may be more of an attack onto Jiizuke. He played this Syndra yesterday. He did look very good on it. So you maybe are just trying to take comfort away from him, push him towards something that Insanity feels is going to be an even better matchup for himself. We can see double mage bans there, from Immortals. One top lane ban taking away the Gnar, which is considered to be a pretty good matchup into that Renekton in the 1v1. Of course, Gnar does have to be careful about the jungle assistance, but I am expecting at this point for it to probably just be an Ornn. And as to your question about, Ornn versus Malphite, I think both can be fine. And this is actually probably going to be a Gragas top. Probably going up towards Revenge, which we have been seeing quite a bit, in LPL, LCK. I think it's a pretty strong pick, and does have fairly good wave clear, because one of the problems that we can see happen to both of the tanks that I mentioned, and this is actually what happened to Fudge yesterday, is that Renekton will stack the early waves, and if the jungler comes up, you get zoned off the tower, right? And that is what happened to Fudge and put him so far behind, in the early stages of yesterday's game. With Revenge on Gragas, perhaps he can just use those barrels early on to thin out the wave enough that he can try to combat that push a little bit more than those tanks may be able to.
Yeah, Gragas definitely, you can trigger Aftershock on purpose, of course. Like, I'm getting Dove, okay, bam, here's 80 armor MR. You've got pretty good CC chaining as well. Yeah, it's going to happen pre-6, but the body slam and the W damage reduction, Gragas can maybe survive a dive, so I'm curious if you can just kind of hold on to that one. Happy to see Ignar hovering the Thresh right here. I think it's one of his very, very best champions, like that and Rakan. I think he's stellar at both, and it's a lot of champions that these players are known for, which is pretty exciting. Gonna see, you know, Jiizuke running around on the Zoe. That should be pretty solid as well. A lot of poke if needed with the Nidalee, Jhin, and Zoe together. Team fight, like raw DPS, is gonna be maybe a little bit suspect. That's the one downside here in the EG squad. But if Impact plays as well he does yesterday, as he did yesterday, then they're not wanting for damage in any way, and this could look really, really good. On the Immortals side, of course, tough situation. They've had to currently replace 3/5 of the roster. Only Revenge and Insanity are intended starters. Everyone else is stuck, not able to get into the country and play just yet. So it's a tough look, but they brought in a bunch of the Academy squad. They said they've been working well together, and we're going to hope they can kind of step up against a team that is already playing, I would say, better than expectations and was already a pretty good one.
Yeah, EG looked really, really good yesterday, and I do think that they have the potential to be much better than the preseason expectations were, you know, if Deftly can step up, because most people are looking at Ignar as an upgrade and someone whose playstyle fits better with Jiizuke, who wants to be aggressive. Ignar's known for his roams, known for his aggressive plays. You look up to the top lane, Kumo versus Impact, that seems like a clear upgrade as well, but the main question people had was, how is Deft going to stack up to what Bang was for EG? Because Bang was huge in so many of the wins for EG, and if Deftly, excuse me, not Deft.
Yeah, sure.
can be playing, you know, at a very high level, you know, as good as Bang even, then the sky's the limit for this team. They really could go pretty damn far.
Yeah, I mean, this is the team that was honestly a pretty solid threat throughout most of the last year. They came fairly close to going to Worlds. They had some pretty good playoff runs overall. And then, yeah, they grabbed some really strict upgrades. I mean, Impact is leagues better than Kumo, and I think Ignar is one of the maybe 2 or 3 best supports in the league. And I mean, I think he's a big upgrade over Azael there as well. And as you're mentioning, yes, then there's the shoes that need to be filled that belong to Bang, but the other 2 lanes are such big upgrades that, I mean, EG are legitimately a team that can challenge for the throne, to challenge for a trophy. And these are the 5 players that can absolutely do it. I'm excited to watch them play out here. On the Immortals side, the player I am the biggest fan of is Insanity. I really liked what I saw of him last year, getting thrown in and stepping as best he could. I think he's a very, very good player. He is in the Lucian mid, as was identified. And yeah, I think if he can keep doing well, I think it's a career that we'll keep watching with a lot of sort of excitement, because I think he can keep getting better, and he could be a star in a year or so.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, there were so many games in Summer Split where Insanity was almost the hero, you know? It was like one play away from being this outstanding, memorable game where there was a small misexecution on a Shockwave or the overpush on the Azir attempt to try to just knock down the base. These small little moments, but I like that he didn't lose his kind of killer edge, right? Because I do think that was something that made him stand out, is how aggressively he played to really get damage out in the team fights. He played a lot of really high DPS champions, you know, the Karthus, the Orianna, the Azir, and he's not afraid to actually throw himself into the fights to just maximize his damage output. You know, even if that means he's going to go down, that can be worth it if you can get a tremendous amount of damage out. So seeing the development of Insanity, going to be a lot of fun, I think. And already proccing PTA twice early on in this lane against Jiizuke, and Jiizuke is getting pretty darn low. He does have biscuits, so we'll be able to start chugging those potions, but these trades are going very, very bad for EG's mid laner.
Yep, so far so good. Insanity going to feel comfortable with this one. Jiizuke just chugging through the 2 regular potions. The first biscuit comes in as well, but that of course only does so much. So looking like it is for now though. A possible farm lead for Jiizuke as the push comes in. Bit of a trade down there. Nice sidestep for Keith. Ignar walks up, throws the hook, but they're just out of range. No pickup there. Perfect CS for Deftly. Always good to see as the first 2 waves come in. And they shove on down into this turret there as well, as Joey and Keith stepping in from the Academy roster. Players we have seen play in the LCS before, but again, we are seeing the Australian duos, the normal starters here for Immortals, and eventually we will have them, but going to hold on as best they can. Kaisa certainly can be quite good, and this is a game where I probably would expect to see Gale Force. I think their Kraken Slayer is a choice when there's a lot more tanks, but you kind of want to get away from Renekton in this game.
Yeah, and the ability to dodge some of these key engaged tools, like dodge out a hook, potentially dodge out a spear or a sleep coming through, that can be really, really big. You know, there is quite a bit of poke over on EG, but it's very dangerous poke. I mean, sometimes that sleep can just mean a kill. And so when you have these style of compositions that want to try to poke you down and then use the Jhin ult for the engage, there is some pressure put over onto the engage tools that Immortals does have. And I think the primary engage there is going to be Revenge. We know how good Gragas could be, as an engager coming out of the jungle. Same thing can be here for the top lane. You can get even a lot more tanky. We have been seeing just traditionally, full tank builds for the Gragas top, and we'll see if that's going to be what he goes for. Svenskeren.
You flash straight, but now this is danger on Insanity. Gets the cleanse out, he's trying to run away, but it's going to be enough for Jiizuke. Thanks for the gank. Potluck can't find it as Svenskeren dives backwards. Jiizuke's back in as well. Flashes in, gets it all. A double kill for the Italian Stallion. You're happy to have him on the roster again. Beautiful play on the Zoe.
Oh, disaster for Immortals, though. Jiizuke punishing those mistakes. Insanity flashing forward was just barely out of auto-attack range. He had the double tap up, so it would have been that first blood over onto Svenskeren, but he misjudged the range, and Jiizuke makes him pay. And he is going to be so far ahead off of that. Going for the early Seekers here to just have that mitigation for the laning phase, and he is going to be really, really dangerous if he gets ahead. We saw him in spring, in particular, really take over some games, including some on the Zoe, where he was just landing sleep after sleep, poke after poke, and making it an absolute nightmare for his opponents.
700 gold is going to feel real good for winning a lane matchup. Hex Flash comes across, sidesteps away from the flay. They get a lot of damage onto Ignar. One more hit would have triggered Plasma, and done about 130 damage overall. Keith, though, is going to be stuck in, taking 300 damage himself. Nicely done by Deftly to land the root with the trap already down there. A nice trade, all things considered, but now Ignar has to sit there and regen, and he is basically out of potions, so that's going to be tough.
And EG is down 3 summoners there. Both summoners off of Ignar. We can see this performance play here. Back towards the mid lane. Insanity spotting Svenskeren on that ward, going over the wall and looking for the kill here. Just barely out of range, not able to connect, and then he's just a bit too far forward, and Jiizuke sees the angle to make him pay, picking up those summoners, the first flash allowing him to get the kill, and then he picked up a second flash to get that second kill. Joey looking for the engage here as Potluck knows definitely has no flash. There's no getting out of this.
It looks like they knew Lantern. Okay, finally comes back up, pulls him away, and now you've got Svenskeren coming around as well. Joey pulled in. Impact is down there, going to be joined by Revenge, but he's got no mana, and Keith is going to be attacked. He's going to go down, and Joey's going to follow. 4 kills to nothing, and a flash forced away to run away from the counter gang. Evil geniuses can do no wrong this game.
Nicely done answering that, as the TP from Impact was so effective. Revenge also TP'd in, but he didn't really have any mana. He wasn't able to get his ultimate out or anything like that. So EG end up coming out on top big time in that bot lane play. Definitely picking up a kill, Impact grabbing a kill for himself, and the rich get richer.
Yeah, this is a pretty substantial lead right now. 1,500 already. It's going to feel a bit doomed. Every single lane is winning. Yeah, so the Lantern was burned early, which said, okay, hey, Lantern's down for 20 seconds, make the play. It's a good call, but it's not enough.
Yeah, they go in for the Hex Flash. They look towards Deftly, knowing he has no flash available, but they're able to kite out and dodge a lot of the initial engage. Deftly's not really taking damage until just now. The Lantern has come back up. Ignar is able to get him out of there, and then Svenskeren has arrived. Impact has arrived. Impact getting back into that back line, sustaining up enough with that Q on 3 members of Immortals to then be able to flash out and survive. And Revenge just not as effective in that teleport play. I didn't get to see exactly how the wave was shaking out up on the top side, but when you both commit that TP, your opponent gets the kill, it's not going to be feeling too good.
No, it's not. So 12 CS lead. Svenskeren does the nice walk away, lets the burn kill it off. Impact going to take the trade. That's going to feel pretty comfortable, but this is the benefit of grasping a Bramble Vest on Gragas is, he doesn't heal off you very heavily, and you hit him right back, and it's going to feel okay. So the trades are fine, but obviously you can see the gold right here. Jiizuke definitely an Impact, all top the charts. And yeah, it's rough stuff down here. I mean, every single member has more gold than their lane opponent, and poor Keith is down in the bottom 4.
Yeah, he's going to be put pretty far back. Impact, though, getting ganked.
Red buff. Sleep, certainly doable. Can you set up the CC combo? Revenge going to pop the ult to go backwards. Now Impact's going to take the fight as best he can. Waiting for cooldowns. Almost gets them! Potluck just barely survives, but he's got to be careful under his turret because Svenskeren's on the way as well. Trap to look for vision. Okay, I don't see you under the turret. I guess I'm not going to find it, but nice attempt. Good kill and something on the board for Immortals. Good job there. Potluck stepping in from Academy. Revenge, his first LCS game of his career here on Immortals squad, formerly of FlyQuest Academy. Had never finished above 8th place in that career. It was unfortunately kind of lackluster in the lower leagues, but managed to get a kill on the board in his first game. Not bad.
Yeah, looking really good. It was a good combo there with Potluck, allowing the sleep to sit, then setting up for the easy Gragas ultimate after Impact had already used the slice and dice. Was really doing as best as he could to try to get away there, and just barely Potluck did survive. If Impact got a kill there, it would have been pretty devastating, but they do even it out, and they are able to push in the wave, so that's pretty nice for them. And we can see that Revenge is going to be heading back up to top side as Jiizuke was resetting the wave top. We saw Impact just head straight out to mid lane to push in that wave for him, and then they will just rotate back around, and we'll see Impact heading right back towards that top lane.
Alrighty, so Scar's Bloom pop. Jiizuke gets a nice blue buff. Both mid laners, of course, got that, as we saw Insanity's version not too long ago. Bot lane turret's already lost one wave. Deftly's like, yeah, I can't really stay long enough for a plate. Let's just take the defensive option. Always a fan of supports who recognize, yeah, I'm not going to auto the turret. We're just going to put a lantern down and let you get the damage, make sure there's no gank play. Keith has to guess which brush might they be recalling in. Are they recalling? Are they sitting in mid brush? We don't know for sure. That's hookable. Yep. He checked the wrong brush, has to lose cleanse. Flay comes back in. They're going for the box as well. Keith's at half HP, and now they can chase forward into even more this one. Fourth shot comes out. Ult as well. Joey can only take a couple of shots. He'll die to the third. Keith walks in. Wow, I am shocked that didn't land. Jiizuke's coming, though. Here comes Zoe. Jumping in. Nice play. The minions couldn't block it enough. Beautifully done. Burned his real flash for the honor, and he gets the kill out of it. 3-0 for the mid lane of Evil Geniuses. Herald's here as well. Turret likely to fall, at least get low. They might get to stay. Insanity clears as much as he can, but there's a minion left. Puts in the culling. It's some low health bars. Ignar's at 5 health. Ignar nearly drops, but the turret will fall. Good team effort. Sleep's not going to land. Evil Geniuses' gold lead is now 3,000.
Such a good roam down from Jiizuke. His bot lane and jungler just barely didn't have enough to actually finish off that kill, but Jiizuke had already moved very early on, gets down to that bot lane, picks up another kill, 3-0. Getting them that tower as well is just absolutely huge. And EG looking really good now in back-to-back games to kick off lock-in.
Really, really nice stuff. So, good job as they just kind of crush through this game so far. EG going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure. Lock-in is a single round robin, so every team's going to play 4 games in their 5-team group, and then a big 8-team single elim tournament to figure out who gets the first set of bragging rights when the LCS season starts in early February. So EG so far off to the races. We know Team Liquid obviously look very scary as well. They're not playing today though. Jiizuke going to look for it. Doesn't quite guess where Insanity is going to be, but it's worth the attempt. It only costs him some mana.
Yeah,
you want to also call out? Oh, go ahead, please.
It's just interesting to see, how much Jiizuke has kind of prioritized going towards the early game. Multiple early game items here. Went Lucidity, went Seekers. He has the Dorans, the Tier, as well as the extra mana from the additional early items. So he's trying to just index very heavily to surviving the lane to be able to be effective here against Insanity. He knows that Lucian was going to push him in. He knows that Insanity is looking to try to play this aggressively, and he itemized to try to withstand that. And yes, his Ludens is going to be later, but he's gotten so much done with this early itemization that it already feels like it's really paid dividends.
Yeah, it's always nice when the Seeker's Arm Guard is just free because you got 700 gold from the level 4 fight. Like, that's going to feel amazing. You're like, my champ just has 80 more stats than normal. This is good. I feel like I'm going to win lane now. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. Definitely for sure the meta build is early tier first recall into Ludens. But as you mentioned, yeah, could have gone fast Ludens instead. That's going to be a nice sleep, though. Insanity has Cleanse, chooses to use it. Going to be tanked up by Joey anyway, so tanks the Paddle Star regardless. Hook comes on towards Revenge. Loses almost his entire health bar. Flash not going to be enough. That's kill number 7 on the board as Impact makes true for a second one. Now Insanity cannot get away. A bubble's in the way. So Joey's going to drop a Flash Flay from Ignar. Guarantees number 4. And really Immortals cannot buy anything this game.
It's looking like it's all over but the crying Phreak. EG just slamming Immortals in this game. You were trying to go for those fights and you were already behind, it has got to go well because there's so much risk involved. It's not just the kills that are going the way of EG. They're going to get the Dragon. They're going to get plates mid. I mean, it's not even 14 minutes. So such a big influx of gold to the team that's already way ahead. is going to make this game incredibly difficult to recover in. But Jiizuke,
all right,
way too far up.
Combo gets the steal of Flash. It should still be enough. They make sure they give the gold over to Keith.
Oh, okay. That one was reportable for sure. That was intentional.
Oh, no.
That was, oh man. Like I get wanting to greet out for the plate, but then he already killed the plate. He's just standing in their face, autoing under the turret.
That's a yikes, dude. That's definitely a yikes.
Yeah, that was a huge yikes. But you know, it's the two faces of Jiizuke, right? You know,
yeah.
Sometimes he's going to get you those amazing kills, and sometimes he's going to give away some freebies. But, you know, give him credit for the previous fight. Landed the sleep on Insanity, forced out the cleanse, chunks Joey down incredibly low before the fight has even started. Then Impact on the flank. Revenge is going in, but he is isolated. The rest of the team is peeling off because Impact is behind them. The positioning, the poke early on from Jiizuke, and the flank from Impact really left Immortals no options in this fight. Completely out-skirmished Immortals in that one.
Now, Azael, I would like to suggest a grading metric for things like what Jiizuke did in the prior fight, or right before the replay, which is he took a plate and that was pretty cash, but to overstay and get killed, that was trash. And it's nice because it rhymes and they're opposites, so it's a very convenient,
this is such a you thing
fun to use grading mechanism.
So
just
is it
next play, cash or trash?
Cash or trash? Well, that was definitely trash. That's for sure. So we've now established that both Jiizuke's play mid lane and your grading metric are both trash. We can go from there.
Okay, that's fine. Well, second Herald going to be grabbed. First one obviously was outstanding. It knocked down 3 turret plates and got first turret in bot lane. I think that was
Cash Herald.
Cash. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I mean, we knew where it was going. But I had to lead into things that, okay, we'll move on. So, Deftly and Ignar are invading in towards the top jungle. Now, careful because they're spotted by wards, but they've got their own vision to make sure they're safe. Joey and Sanity coming around, but Ignar's wards see that as well. Nearly hooked Joey. That would have been painful. And they can try to stay alive and try to defend the turret a little bit, but Jiizuke's just free hitting. Like, there's too much support around him to be stopped. So, looks like it's going to be turret number 3 falling, and Immortals are 2 deaths shy of getting perfect gamed right now. It's just been all EG the entire time.
Yeah, just not really any opportunity to contest there, as you said. They knew Svenskeren was in the area. They know the bot lane is in the area. So they're just kind of losing out on all fronts right now. Very easy top lane turret taken. No real opportunity to try to punish there elsewhere on the map. Impact was pushing out mid lane, taking the scuttle on bot side. Now he's going to move down to meet Revenge down in that bot lane. So Immortals aren't really getting anything anywhere. They'll deny a couple minions in that mid lane, but it's not much of a win given what EG is getting across the map. And you can see the Mythics are coming through across the board here, it seems like, for EG. So they are at a very, very strong point in the game. Thankfully for Immortals, their Mythics are now completing. Double Gale Force picked up for the Insanity as well as Keith, and we'll see if they can make anything happen. I do think that they're going to be heavily reliant on a fantastic Gragas engage. It feels like you must catch Jhin or perhaps, maybe the Zoe and just delete them, with a great Gragas engage, cast someone in, burst them out, and then from there, you can actually team fight EG. But it feels like if you do not get that incredible engage, you're going to get poked out, you're going to be low before the fight starts, and you're just going to be completely outstatted by the massive gold lead.
Yeah, so somehow you have to make a miracle happen. And unfortunately, your CC is a bit telegraphed. They're going to look for Svenskeren here. Half HP on a hit, but goodbye! Potluck gets eaten for lunch just now, and it's time for more turrets to fall. Mid lane tier 2, obviously under fire. They may just kill it before the charge. They'll preserve health if they do. Indeed, that happens, so good job to them. I'm not expecting Dancing Herald, but that said, we've got the hard engage. Joey comes in, he finds 4. A hard engage goes in towards Ignar. Cast does not manage to separate enough, and it just isn't enough damage. Obviously, Potluck was never there, but the eye of the tiger was there. The attempt was almost had, but if they had any money, it might have mattered. Just wasn't enough. Joey died for the play, and that is going to be Inhibitor in mid lane opened up as well. Low enough that they'll recall and not go for more.
Yeah, it feels like it's hard to know if that's really the time to go for it, though. Potluck was already dead, and your Desperation Engage is 4v5, right? It's not like they'd even forced anything off EG, so sure, you get a great engage if you're Joey, but if your jungler's dead and you have no ability to actually follow up on that, it's not really going to get you anything. At the end of the day, they still lose the mid lane turret. Now they lost both their summoners off of Insanity, so he's not really in a position where he can fight now, given that Impact still has flash and can just flash stun you, and that's pretty much a guaranteed kill. So I do think that Immortals just needed to take their loss, accept that that tower was probably gone after they lost Potluck early on, and then try to live to fight another day, because you get very few chances to come back from a game like this, and that's one that they've spent just now. So here's the earlier pick. This one was over onto Potluck, and the spear plus fourth shot combo, it's deer for dinner. Potluck went down so fast.
Yeah, that was some venison real quick. All right, goodbye to that one. You know, I'm sad, Azael, because the engage afterwards looked really cool. Yes, it was just a soft int and maybe a hard int, honestly. And it was just like, here's another death. We got nothing out of it. But it looked cool, so I'm curious if the internet thinks it's cash or trash, because I want to know what the reason for everyone else. Because at least it was pretty. But we're on Dragon number 3 already. The gold lead's now 6,500, and it looks really doomed for Immortals, sadly.
It does look. And it's one of those situations where, like, I understand it. You know, you're playing this champion that has an AoE engage. You see the opportunity to go in on Rell. You hit everyone. You're thinking this is perfect. But if your team isn't behind you, if the follow-up isn't in position, it's not going to accomplish anything. And it's one of those situations where you just have to have the discipline to sit back. And that is some of the growing pains that perhaps Joey will have to go through here, you know, getting up to this LCS level. Obviously, Immortals is playing with subs. They maybe aren't as practiced together, maybe feeling a little bit of desperation, knowing that they are already very far behind in this game. And, you know, it is the first game of lock-in for them, so a little bit less warmed up, perhaps, than EG, who's going to be riding high off of an incredible game yesterday.
Yeah, they really do look stellar. EG is one of the teams to watch for sure in this early part of the season. And honestly, if they keep playing at this level, I think they are one of the sweethearts to push in farther, or maybe qualify. Sure, we're going far. Yeah, I mean, they're looking good, so want to see what they can get out of this one. Nice attempt by Jiizuke. Can't get to sleep. Not going to lose too much either. And we just keep the siege on going. We know Cloud Soul's coming in 3 minutes. You might as well claim that, so you have Elder Dragon as a win condition. Baron's alive right now as well. Reasonably fast Baron team. And honestly, they could probably win any kind of peeled fight they went for, but you also want to make sure you're not taking too many risks and you don't give any options open.
Yeah, I think what EG is doing very well right now is just cutting off vision, right? You know, we do see that Immortals got a couple wards in their jungle, but they have nothing on the right side of the map as far as vision. They have nothing even approaching the river. The only wards that they just got down are now being cleared out here by Svenskeren and Jiizuke, so it is a very dark and scary map for them. They have one ward total, you know, really in their jungle. Another just got placed, but this is very shallow vision, so if EG keeps you choked out like this, they keep you close to your base, when the dragon spawns, you don't even have an opportunity to really try to get over there. Because if you're trying to walk in fog through Thresh, through Nidalee spears, through Zoe who could be over the wall and have eyes on you, it is not going to be a good time.
It's not. A little bit of damage done right there. Revenge can't land anything with a body slam. Impact just takes the front line. Jiizuke just keeps going for a poke over the wall. Can't find any more targets just yet himself, but you can see this turret down to 1/4 HP. Easy hit now onto the Gromp as that's going down to half health, and it's just more golden experience coming in. You can see level leads basically across the board. And it's looking good, EG.
I like how EG is playing this out. I also like the fact that Insanity at least pushed out that top wave. They probably weren't going to be able to defend this tower anyway. So at the very least, he's able to pick up some farm and try to, you know, get some items together, perhaps mount a comeback off of a good fight. Of course, it is going to be, you know, a really low chance, but they're trying to take their opportunities. If you can't defend that tower, don't stay around. They push out top lane. They get some vision in the jungle. Those are very small wins for Immortals, but they are wins nonetheless because they had been struggling to get any sort of vision, you know, out there onto the map. But it's likely that we just see EG setting up now. They're getting their recalls in. They can look towards this Cloud Soul, as that would be their 4th straight dragon this game. Immortals has some vision around the Baron now, but they still have nothing in that dragon quadrant of the map. And Ignar is already, you know, sweeping out, checking if there is any wards. They're not going to find anything because nothing exists.
Yeah, I think the Immortals wards make sense, though. They're just going to give away Cloud Soul because, like, the dragon itself is not deadly, and there's no way you're gonna win an open field fight down 8,000 gold. So their comeback is, can we win when you're sieging a turret? Can we win when you're hitting Baron? We'll make sure we have wards and vision for those plays because that's where our comeback comes in. So I like that line of reasoning, and it's just up to EG to not give those opportunities away, which, you know, they shouldn't, but that's the only way they even lose this game.
Yep, I agree. I think it is the play. You're hoping for that miracle at this point. Nice little sidestep there from Revenge on both the hook as well as that root coming through from Jhin, but the dragon is now spawning. It should just be soloed up, it looks like, by Svenskeren. I like not sending your entire team to do it because it's just not necessary. This way we can still have EG out on the map defending their vision, defending their pink wards, and keeping their opponents pushed in so that as soon as this dragon goes down, you can begin sieging in full force once more.
Yeah, I actually really do like how docilely EG played the last 5 minutes because they're like, look, let's just cross the T's, dot the I's, claim the free Cloud Soul, right? We'll play really slow. We'll just guarantee vision stays up. No big deal. Once that's done, then we'll play their 5-minute-long Baron dance. Like, once we've got the guaranteed objective, you know, that we're going to have for the rest of the game, nice crit there, definitely manages to with the force shot, claim the red buff, well done there. It's like, all right, now we can play Baron dance. They've been, you know, pretty reticent to siege because they're just saying, we're not going to risk that one either. We're going to get the guaranteed buff first.
Yep. And this Cloud Soul is actually fantastic for Impact, who has again gone for the Blade of the Rune King. We see way more Sterics in general. You know, that is almost always the 2 items that Renektons are going for, is the Gore Drinker into Sterics. He's going to be going for that 3rd very likely. But going the more aggressive option, yesterday he was ahead, today he is ahead, now he has that Cloud Soul. So when you are looking for those flanking positions, you pop the ultimate, you're getting that burst of move speed plus the flat move speed that you do already get from that Cloud Soul, and it makes it even more difficult for this backline to actually try to escape from and survive against this Renekton, who is going to be a monster in these team fights.
Yeah, and there's only one person with any meaningful armor, and it's the tank that he's going to try to ignore in these battles. Immortals hoping for a greedy move where EG was top side. Maybe Svenskeren. Team is pretty far away. I mean, theoretically, Body Slam Flash ult probably pulls him in, and maybe there's follow-up damage, but that was going to be a tough one to sell.
Yeah.
Ultimately not going to make that play happen. Impact goes in for good chunks of damage on a Revenge, who now can't Body Slam away. Ults to build some space, and Body Slams back to his turret. Dodges away from Deftly's root, but now top lane tier 2 likely to fall.
It is tough, too, because the Nidalee also has Zhonya's, so, you know, are you going to be able to kill them off before the Zhonya gets popped and the Thresh comes in? You know, they're just not good targets because they can go towards luxury items, you know, early on when they have this massive gold lead. It just puts them in such a position of power, knocking down yet another tower, denying more vision. The vision game really has been very impressive from EG so far this game, and I think that's something that you can kind of track and really look towards. It's one of the more subtle parts of League of Legends at the competitive level, but the teams that are really good at doing this, it's so hard to actually come back from. And even just Ignar dropping the Lantern, stepping forward as though they are going to look for an engage. Obviously, they're 2-manning Baron at this time. They're showing Svenskeren mid lane to try to dissuade Immortals from checking, but now they are aware as EG goes back towards the jungle, and Svenskeren is on that Baron looking to finish it off. I don't think Immortals can really get here in time.
2 blue trinkets used. Revenge blind ults. Not going to happen. Well enough done. But now, is there a re-engage? Is there a fight? Joey goes in, gets flayed out, though. Can't find a CC. And now he walks too slow to do anything. Pops the ult, pops the stun. In comes Revenge as well. No ult for him, but going to try to find the damage. Keith, ult's back to safety. Support's going to go down. 1 for 0 so far. Insanity is kiting. Impact gets very, very low. He's asleep. He's going to go down. A 1 for 3, though. Make it a 4th, and here comes the rest of them. It's time for Potluck to drop down as well. They did kill Impact. One thing C9 couldn't do, but it's not going to be enough. 16-3, the Bud Light Ace. Evil Geniuses going to have a 2-0 start to LCS lock-in.
About as good of a fight as Immortals could have hoped for. They took down Impact. They almost got a couple more, some low health bars there, but EG playing it well enough, cleaning them up. 2-0 in the lock-in. As you said, EG looking incredible in these early games.
And the nice play backwards. Joey for good measure going to make it a 2nd ace in a row. It's the same ace, by the way. He died first, and then he died at the very end. So back-to-back ace for EG. Technicalities are special. The Red Bull Bear makes it easy. That's going to be the Nexus going down. 17-3. Well done, Evil Geniuses.
Definitely a cash game from EG.
Yes! Yes, it was.
They're playing really, really well. Ignar, I think, looked fantastic in this game. Was on point with the plays, was on point with the vision control. It's nice to see him working well with Svenskeren. I think Azael is a great support, but it does feel like Svenskeren and Jiizuke are guys who want to be let off the leash. They want to go for those crazy plays. They want to dive in and fight. They want to scrap it up. And Ignar is more that style of player, I think, than Azael was for EG last year. You know, Ignar likes to engage, likes to roam, likes to move around the map, and seeing them actually pairing up well to control vision, control space this early on, I think does bode well for EG, you know, moving forward, because these are the fundamentals that can make you great at League of Legends. You know, when we watched TL last year, that's something we talked a lot about with them is how well Core JJ and the rest of TL controlled vision, and it made them almost an impossible team to come back against. You know, when they were ahead of you in the